All right, fight fans, I am back here with the legendary Christy Martin. How you doing today, Christy?
Everything is good. You know, we're excited to be here back in Fayetteville to do this annual Christy Martin title tournament at Freedom Courts. It's exciting. We have about 250, 260 amateur boxers. Oh, 3 rings, 3 days. We're going to do it.
You had a crazy week. Talk to me about how your week has gone today. You came to Fayetteville, then you had to fly back up to Florida, then came back to Fayetteville. What's going on?
Yeah, so we came in Tuesday to Lillington, North Carolina, did a little domestic violence event, speaking, shared my story. Also talking about how boxing has saved so many lives and how boxing gyms like families and really explain to people that have never been into a boxing gym its life. So we did that on Tuesday. Came down, did registration on Thursday for the tournament. I jetted out to Florida to help with Carib Royale with Box Lab, their show that they were doing for the weigh-in. And then I came back this morning on a 5 o'clock flight. So it's been crazy, but I love boxing and giving back to these kids is the main thing, and that's I'm here.
Exactly. And it's been a year since you did this tournament. A lot has happened in that year, okay? So it's a piece of new hardware in your hand, I see there.
Yeah.
It's finally official. You've been waiting a long time for this ceremony to take place. What was it feel to finally be inducted into the Hall of Fame?
Yeah, finally. You know, we were in 2020 class for the International Boxing Hall of Fame. We finally, June 12th, my birthday, we got the official induction. And, you know, there's just not words for it, really. It's a dream come true. And it's not even a dream come true because I really never dreamed it. You know, they were allowing women to be in the Boxing Hall of Fame, so I never expected that it would change.
And what was the environment? What was the ambiance being around so many Hall of Famers, so many great fighters? What was that like? What was that experience like for you?
It was great, and I'm fortunate because I've been going up there for the Hall of Fame since back in the 90s and had the opportunity to meet the greats. You know, I met Willie Pett. I got to talk with Archie Moore. Carmen Basilio, Gene Palmer, so many of the greats, Marvin Hagler, of course Ray Leonard, those, you know, guys of our era. And it's just awesome. It's awesome to be part of that small group now. How
does it, now that women's boxing is elevating to higher levels, women are getting marquee venues and events. Amanda Serrano, Katie Taylor had a massive fight that elevated women's boxing. What is the state of women's boxing today? How do you feel about women's boxing today, and how do you feel to be a pioneer of that?
I think that Katie Taylor, Amanda Serrano fight really elevated women's boxing. Let's hope, but it took those two ladies' careers to a different level than any other female fighters ever been on, and we'll just hopefully it will open up more doors, and the bigger promoters, TV networks will start to give women boxers the opportunity and the exposure, because it doesn't matter how good you are. If people aren't getting the opportunity to see you, you're never going to be that marquee name. You're never going to be well known. You're not going to make the big bucks. And boxing is a sport, but it's a business. I mean, we have to make money.
You're constantly sharing your story. I mean, not only about boxer, but about your survival with the horrific domestic violence. You released a Netflix special. You got a book right here. You're signing crazy books. You're selling a lot of books. How has the reception been about the book?
The book, you know, Ron Borges did a fabulous job putting the book together. We sat for hours on Zoom calls because it was during the pandemic, and just talked. And he was easy to talk to. I knew him from the 90s during my boxing career, and I feel like he captured me, and he really put it on the paper like I said it without putting his own take on it. And I feel like the book touches many groups. You know, it touches, of course, it touches domestic violence. It touches sexuality, drug addiction. You know, it talks about my grandfather committed suicide. I was sexually abused as a child. There's so many things. There's so many different groups of people that it can touch. And I feel like I'm the underdog. You know, like I'm the big underdog. So if I can make it, I feel like I have made it. Hopefully I can give somebody else a little courage, a little inspiration that they can get up the floor too.
And you use boxing as a medium to show fighters, and especially young women, that they're strong, that they could get through anything. What's your message to that girl out there that's suffering at the hands of an abuser but doesn't have the courage to leave you? What message do you send her?
It is hard. It's hard to make that step. The biggest message that I can give is once you go, you cannot go back. and you have to be strong, and don't let them pull you back. And also, once they physically, emotionally, financially, even sexually abuse you once, it's only going to get worse. So, we want to talk to little boys often about physically abusing women, but we also need to talk to little girls about being strong. And if that happens to them, no, I'm not going to take it and get out. It goes both ways.
What's next for Christy Martin? You have mentioned maybe a movie about your life happening, and of course you got your own boxing promotions. You got pro fighters to represent. What's next to break you to the last quarter this year?
The last quarter this year, we're going to do November 5th, National Boxing Pro-Am actually in Myrtle Beach. So I'm excited about that. I'm going to really promote the heck out of it and try to make it the biggest and best show that I've done in Myrtle Beach. I am working with different promoters, putting fighters on cards, numerous cards, PBC, Marshall Kaufman, King's Promotions. Working with Don King, my former promoter, that always makes me happy. When my phone rings and it's DK. So I'm busy, but we also are doing a lot of stuff with Christy's Champs. We're going to be making a trip up to Connecticut to be at the gym up there for an event that they have, the 6th. And of course we're pubbing the book, and coming up, we're going to be on 2020. So a lot of stuff.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Christy. Well, there you have it, fight fans. The legendary Christy Martin, classy as always. Thank you, Christy.